Would you like to live your best life possible, regardless of your imperfections? Discover cutting-edge tools and inspiration to let go of your limitations and expand your life beyond what you've ever imagined. On Imperfect Brilliance, we help you tap into your unique gifts and talents, uncovering and letting your brilliance shine. Join certified facilitator and coach Betsy McLaughlin as she delves into different areas of your life to get unstuck and create the life that is truly possible for you. Betsy has changed her life by utilizing the tools and techniques she is sharing with you. What if your willingness to acknowledge your brilliance is the catalyst to creating a new reality? When you stop judging you, what else can you create in your life and in the world? Join Betsy live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to create magical and joyous possibilities for an hour of laughs, questions, tips, and more. We are excited to contribute and play with you.
Hey guys, welcome to Imperfect Brilliance. This is Betsy McLaughlin, and we have a really fun show for you today. We get a lot of fun emails and suggestions, either people in person or send me an email and say, hey, have you ever thought about having so-and-so on your show, or have you ever thought about this topic, which I always am asking people what would they like to hear, because really without you guys, I wouldn't have a show. So we had kind of a brilliant and different idea, and somebody said, what if you turn the tables and have somebody interview you, as you're always having people on as your guests. So what if you became the guest on your own show? So that's what we're doing today, you guys. And the wonderful person who is going to play along today is Miss Sarah Andrew. Welcome, Sarah.
Well, thank you, Betsy. Thank you for having me on the show and doing this amazing show.
You're so welcome. So just a little bit about Sarah. She is a diversity publicist. She's a creative producer, a founder and editor-in-chief of an online magazine, and she's also a miracle worker. I love that. She owns her own public relations company, and Sarah travels the world creating with her clients and her projects. And she is inspired to create more consciousness in the world through Inspire magazine and the media that she creates. How cool is that? So I'm going to turn off my host and interview hat, and I'm going to put on my interviewee hat, and I'm going to let you take over now.
Thank you, Betsy. Hey, Betsy, I love interviewing you because the gift that you are to the world is just, well, for me, you are just one of the kindest people I've ever met. So today, I really want to get to know who is Betsy and what are you here and what do you bring to the world that is so different than anyone else is being on the planet right now. So my first question is, who is Betsy?
Well, okay, now you got me crying. And thank you for those kind words. That really does mean a lot to me. Who am I? It kind of depends on which day you're asking me and what's going on. So,
But is that a question that you actually ask yourself every day?
Well, I will. Yeah, I do have that one question that is like, who am I, and what grand and glorious adventures will I have today? I can't say I ask that question every day, but I do ask it, and it's a fun question to ask, and just be like, I wonder what I'm going to create today.
And Betsy, what have you been creating today, and what have you been creating for now and for your future, and for people, in business and in the world with you?
Wow, there's so much in creation and kind of in different stages. I've got several telecalls coming up. I've got a coaching program that I'm putting together, and I've got kind of a longer term. Well, it'll just take a little bit longer to pull all the pieces together, but it's actually going to be where we really dive into learning about real estate and how questions and things like that can contribute something really different, whether you're buying a house, selling a house, renting a house. And I have so many years of experience with real estate, and it's been asking to be born for a while, and it's finally like time for all the pieces to come together in front of me, because one of the things that I always do is ask, is now the time? And a lot of times it's like, not quite yet. And so I talk to things that would like to be created, and when it's time, then take some action and do the things that are required to actually put a program into place. So there's a lot of different things going on.
Can you talk about one of your telecalls, one of your up-and-coming telecalls that is happening?
Sure. One of them is called Undefined, which has been really fun to put together. And it's when I first had the inspiration to create it, it was going to be a 1-part telecall, and now it has changed to a 3-part telecall when I ask questions and it's like, okay, is now the time? It's like, yes. And so in playing and engaging with the energies of what desires to be created and including it in the creation, sometimes you really have to change your point of view about what you think it's going to be. Because I didn't think this was going to be a 3-part telecall. I was like, okay, 1 call should be good. Well, the call really desired it to be something different. So it's going to be a 3-part telecall, and it does not really want to be defined very much. So it's like, okay, this one's not going to have a whole lot of description, and hence the name Undefined. Okay, and I get the energy of where it would like to go and what it would like to be and where we'll go exploring. And so that one's really undefined. It's just so funny. And then the other one that will be starting in about a little bit later in October is called Beyond Conclusion. And that's going to be a 1-part call. And that one was very concise, and I could get clear definitions and what did it desire to be and when did it want, it was very clear. So it was really funny to be playing with all of these different things and how different they can be when it's still me creating them, and each thing is really truly its own being, its own creation. And kind of like if you've got 6 kids in the house, every kid is going to be completely different. So those are a couple of things that I have coming up that we'll have out very shortly. We're just finishing up the final pieces of getting the graphics and the pieces together for the website so that people will be able to get more information about it.
Right. And what else? So after your telecalls, what else have you got creating? And look, it's really interesting when you're talking about, your telecalls and you're following the energy and you're asking questions and you're saying it's got its own life. That's something that is very natural. Have you always been like that with your projects, with your businesses?
I really have. I didn't know that I was, but yes, I really have always been like that when it was something that made me joyful and excited to be. It was like, yes. And I didn't, so many times, I never really knew. And I look back on different things and different businesses that I've started and things like that. I didn't know, or, and I didn't have all the pieces in place. It's like, this sounds like fun. Let's do it. Run, and then jump and go create it. And I create it as I go. And I've had several different businesses that have all been a lot of fun. And one was wholesaling printing and doing printing and graphics. Another business was a paper arts store that started as one thing and just bloomed and exploded into something completely different. I've been in real estate. I've been in the corporate world. So I've done editing. I've done graphics. So I have a lot of different skills.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to really ask, like when you're working with your own creations, and do you create like the way you create with your own creations and in your own businesses and like that, and your past businesses with other people? So when you're working with teams or working with new creations, is that, do you work, do you ask questions with other people? Do you, like, how does that work then when it's not your own creation? That's probably what I'm aiming at.
Gotcha. Because I also do a lot of work with Access Consciousness, and that is a huge company. There are 176 countries around the world and growing exponentially. And so when I'm working on projects with them, we definitely are always asking questions. What does this create? What does this require? Who or what? And always asking questions, and really have honed the ability to listen to or sense the energies of whatever the project is, what it requires. So whether it's something that I'm working on for my own businesses or for contributing to somebody else's businesses, that it's definitely always foremost, what does this require? And so always being in the question of what that is.
And is question fun for you?
Yes.
What does that create for you, being in the question and not coming to an answer or conclusion, or I would say like a stop sign, a big fat stop sign?
A big red stop sign. Put the brakes on.
No crash, anyone, no crash. It's fun, like I know when I am with you or even talking, or even when I'm creating with you, there's this energy of joy when I tap in and ask questions. It's fun. So for me, it's this energy of joy when being in the question. So do you find that when you're in question with your creation?
Yes, thank you. That's a great question. And most of the time, yes, I'm absolutely, it's very joyful and happy. And if I'm in a not joyful or happy place and I'm trying, and I'm using kind of air quotes here, trying to ask questions, but maybe my heart really isn't in it, or I'm just kind of in an inky mood or whatever, then I might not be able to play the same way with the energies and the questions. So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but when I'm truly being me and I'm joyful and whatever it is, even if it's something that maybe not maybe not be my favorite thing to do, it's still in asking these questions and being willing to be aware of all the energies, then it definitely becomes way more expansive. And so what I mean, like being willing to be aware of all of the energies, that's definitely something that I'm always asking to actually be more and more. So sometimes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, can you describe and explain being more aware of the energies, of the different energies that come into your present, or that you're actually being present with these energies?
Yes. And sometimes, so in asking to be more and more aware, or more conscious, or however you want to say these words, like sometimes there's weird energies. And you may not actually want to be aware of it. And so you might want to push it away. Like, so if, like, say you were very aware, you're way more aware than you realize. So somebody could be in a bad mood and you don't want to deal with it, or you don't want to hear it, or so you might push it away. Or somebody is projecting negative, what you perceive as negative energy at you. Well, you don't want to deal with it. So it's that willingness to actually be aware of all of it. And instead of pushing it away and saying, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to know, you actually say, okay, what is this? What am I aware of here? And just in asking these questions, you can get more answers, more awareness, other questions might come in, other ideas. And so in being willing to always be in the question, it has totally changed my life, that's for sure. And I'm not saying I know all the answers and I've done everything perfect or anything like that. But being willing to have the awareness of everything going on, all the energies, and then just because you're aware of it does not mean you have to do anything with it.
I really love that.
Oops, it's time for our first break.
First break. We're going to break, everyone.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from New Thought teachers, speakers and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Are we back?
Everyone.
Welcome back. Hey, the one that so this is the second part of the interview where I really like to, take you and interview you, Betsy, is I really like you to talk about consciousness and what does consciousness mean to you. And right now there is a lot in mainstream media, a lot of talking about climate change, the planet. And I always, consciousness and the planet for me goes hand in hand.
Absolutely.
So, let's have a conversation about what is consciousness.
A nice small subject. For me, it truly is, and Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, said this so beautifully. It's like consciousness includes everything. And it's like, oh, it really does. So, I think I could talk a little bit earlier about not wanting to be aware of certain things or trying to push things away. But if consciousness includes everything and everything, so whether it's something, and of course the planet is a huge piece of that, planet Earth and the solar system and beyond the solar system, beyond what we even know, is all part of it. And so with that, if we are willing to actually be aware of everything going on and not turn our back on anything or hide from anything and actually be in the question, then what could we change with everything that's going on? And, if we can change it, what is it? And what could we do? What do we know? What could we create? What is waiting to be created? I recently heard about these two girls who are in college who've created something that actually eats plastic out of the ocean, and it's all biodegradable. And I look at something like that and go, holy guacamole, look at the amazingness of them. So they didn't take, this is impossible, this is this, where we can all function from, like, we can't change this is horrible, but these people actually, they're in the question. Like, well, what could we do? What could we change? And they went and did it. And I love that ingenuity and that creativity and that, there actually is something else available. So whenever we go to the place of, we can't change this, we can't solve this, there's somebody out there who is like, let me see what I can do. Let me see, what could I do? And I saw another beautiful example of how one person really truly can make a difference. So we may think that we're this insignificant person in all of the billions of people on this planet. And there was a guy who was very troubled by a polluted lake, and I don't remember where it is. I apologize, but it was a beautiful story. Yeah. And he went and he found these nanobites and some different things, and he put them all together, and he changed this polluted lake where nothing could grow, and to now people are swimming in it and fishing in it, and there's wildlife again. And he's now so inspired, he wants to go to the biggest lake in Brazil and do the same thing. It's like 40% of the lakes on our planet are polluted. So you look at things like that, it's like, okay, what could we do? What could we contribute? And you may not be out there doing those kinds of things, but what if what you're doing is actually far greater contribution than you have ever acknowledged.
So just even being kind to yourself is contributing to the planet instead of disempowering yourself. Would you say, being truly kind to yourself creates a different possibility for planet Earth?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just think, when you're around kindness and laughter and generosity, it breeds more of the same. So would you rather be around that, or would you rather be around hostility and anger and depression and all of those, which is also breeds more of itself? I'm sorry?
Yeah, I said I know I won't. I really enjoy being around kindness and, expansion and, creativity, because that is fun. The joy that, and you can have joy in anything, I would say. That was my next question. So if you're having, I'm going to say this, a bad day or, do you still have the joy of it?
Oh, that is such an interesting question. So I used to not. I would no. And now, actually, yes. So if I'm in a place where I'm like, crunchy or just, so instead of fighting that or being upset that I'm in that place, what if I actually embraced it?
Yeah.
And what I have found when I do that, and I've done it a couple of times with my husband, and I'm like, I'm just in a cranky mood, and if I've said something that maybe came off wrong, or it just is like, maybe I should not have said that. I'm so sorry. And what I'll do then is be like, okay, and actually turn up the volume on whatever that is, and then to the ridiculous, and then I start laughing, and that will get me out of whatever faster than being just in whatever that is. So it's like, yes, I can have joy even when I'm not joyful. If that makes any sense.
And like you say, it when you turn up the volume, then that laughter and that joy even comes out even more. And
then you see how ridiculous you're actually being. And that's for me. And I'm like, oh, like, God, what am I doing here? And then, my husband and I we'll just play along with it. And we just get more and more ridiculous. And by this point, we're just laughing our heads off at the silliness of it.
And would you say when you choose to be that energy with the crunchiness, the yuck, and all like that, does that actually create a different possibility for the planet? Is that instead of people yelling and screaming and violence, when you are like this is great, like people to hear that you can have crappy days and then turn them around and still be contributing to planet Earth too.
Yes, absolutely. And so what could we all choose, and what could we all be that contributes not only to you and your friends and your family, but the planet as well? So if you're kind, if you have a house where you have a little bit of land, are you kind to your land? Do you say, do you thank your land? Do you thank your house? Do you even if you're in an apartment, do you thank the house and the land and the earth for taking care of you?
That's amazing. Like right now, Betsy, I'm actually in England, and I'm actually out in the countryside, and I'm staying in this beautiful cottage It's over 200 years, and there's bees everywhere. The kitchen, it's just, and there's bricks, and doors are around 300 years old. So what you were just saying, all day since I've been here, I've been really allowing my body to just receive, and the relaxing of it. But what you just said, I've been going around this house all day and the land just thanking it, because, having beams that are like 200 years old and woodcraft doors, the gratitude and the people that live here, they've gone away, and the kindness they are to the house, and the love they put in the house, and you can tell. And there's 3 little toy poodles here, and they just, watching them with the land, and animals are just amazing. The gift they are to the land, and the land to them. It's a gift. It's a gift again back to the planet. Like, by just actually really being so grateful, I have to say my body is just like, just being able to breathe, relax, and it's like it's got a big smile. So it's beautiful when you actually acknowledge and really grateful for the land and everything around you.
Well, and bringing in the piece, you're in a house that's 200 years old, the care and the crafting that has gone into building something that will last like that. And you can see, I love old architecture, and the doors, and like you said, the brick, and a lot of times there's ornate carving in the woodwork and the trim, and you just look at this going, oh my goodness, the beauty and the care of it, and that it's still there and it's still being admired. To me, that's such an honoring of everything. The people who were there before you, the people who built it, the land, the house, and that beautiful, contributive, appreciative energy, that definitely permeates out into everything.
It really does. It really. And so what would you say to people, living in cities? Because I know I just came from London today to this cottage, and wow. And so, like when you go to a big city, how's your body? Like, can we have this conversation? What can we be like? Can we be what we were just having in that conversation? Like being so grateful for, again, for everything. But can you talk more about being in a city for you?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I have learned that I get a lot of information coming from me at all directions, and I know when I'm around a lot of people, I can go, like I get this tenseness, and then I have to remind myself, like, hey, this is just, you're getting a lot of awarenesses all coming in. There's a lot of people here, and everybody listening, you guys have awarenesses. You are so much more in tune with everything and everyone around you. And I can give you an example, like how many times has somebody called you that you were just thinking about, and you go, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you. Well, that's because you guys are connected and you were aware. So who was thinking about who first, right? I was like, I wonder. So I do have to remind myself when I'm in a city and there's a lot of people that thank my body actually now for the awarenesses that she tells me. And it's like, okay, again, that question of if I didn't have to do anything with it that I talked about earlier, and it's just an awareness, then that really helps to not have me this constricted feeling that I'm aware of that a lot of people are, and how they might be living their lives in their days. So I actually ask to lower my barriers, because the natural inclination when you feel that energy is your barriers go up too. But actually, what for me works is like lowering those barriers and being willing to, okay, here it is, and just expand out and ask your being to expand out and expand out and expand out, so that you're not at the effect of everything that you're aware of.
And that's, and like, we are so trained to put our barriers up when we are so aware. And look, I'd like to say something. It was funny when we're talking about how aware we are. I did another interview the other day, and I was so aware of the person vaping that my body was aware of the vaping, and my body started vaping. And I was in laughter. And then that night, I went to bed, and this is, where you could really think you're going insane, but I had this awareness that, I'm going to be dumped. I'm going to dump you, and so the person I was seeing, I was actually picking up. He was about to dump me, and I actually was so aware that he was going to dump me. And so when he dumped me, I had that awareness already, so I was able to lower down my barrier. And I love, and what I really noticed about that, Betsy, is I was able to look at that as a gift. Because a lot of people go, we have to protect ourselves with awareness and like that. For me, I was so grateful I was aware of it. I didn't make him wrong. I definitely didn't make me wrong. And I know, can we do another conversation, another path we can go down, is when you're aware, and especially like in a city or around lots of people, and you are aware of it. I know sometimes before I really acknowledged that I was just picking up everyone's feelings and thoughts about themselves or about me, and I thought I was very judgmental, and I just thought I was wrong. So can you talk about how, did you ever make yourself wrong when you were somewhere?
Oh, never. This is our second break. We can have this conversation when we come back.
Okay.
Good morning, guys.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me, and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
much for being with Imperfect Brilliance today. And I'm going to put my host hat back on for just a moment. In case anybody is interested in your magazine, your online magazine, would you tell people a little bit about it, Sarah?
Yeah, thank you. So you can find it through inspireprmedia.online. And look, around October last year, I've been involved with lots of different media and lots of different magazines. And there was just, for me, there was just something missing. And I really wanted to have stories that really inspired other people to even be that invitation for other people to then be able to be like empowering themselves that actually know. So very like the Access Consciousness, know what you know. So with the magazine, the stories are about, creativity, about difference. It's about, it's not the end of the world. We have a planet that we can create with and like that. So, and then I get, to interview people like you. I travel around the world. And, again, I love the type of interviewing that inspires people to even look at what they're actually doing. And, to know that everything that you do, even if it sounds insane, that you have a choice. And I think that's what the magazine is really about, is that, to me, there's just so much out there saying, we can't do this, we can't, there's so many answers and conclusions. So this magazine is about question, it's about exploring, it's about inspiring that you know, and that's what the magazine's about.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I love it.
So let's go back. How many, not how many times, but when you were so aware, because I know this has been my life for so long, and I now know that I've just been aware, my anger, being, that was so funny, like, oh, I'm going to be dumped. Well, who am I going to dump? And picking that up. And that was like, that person was actually 150 Ks or, away from me. And, like I said, I didn't make myself wrong. So, yeah, when was your turning point that you were aware and started not making yourself wrong?
That was a great question. And I certainly spent most of my life very much in the wrongness of me. Very much in the wrongness of me. And then I would do everything like, see how wrong I am? And then something else would happen. See, there I go, I'm being wrong again. And so I was like this self-fulfilling prophecy of always being walking, talking wrongness. That was me. And it really was a journey for me. It was probably about 8-9 years ago that I was at this point where I wasn't sure I really wanted to be here on planet Earth anymore. I was so tired of being depressed and sick and tired and in pain and miserable and blah, 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 blah. And it was like, there's got to be something else, or I'm just not sure I want to be here. So that started my path to finding different things. I had done the traditional, what do you call it? Can't even think of the word. Therapy. And I was just at the point where I was tired of hearing myself say the same things every week. I'm like, come on, please, can we do something different? So I actually found Reiki, and I found some other things that led me to this path of something different. And in the something different, really, that's when my life started opening up. And then the questions and all the tools from Access Consciousness, and a friend literally called me up one day who I had met. She did angel card readings, and she did a lot of alternative things, Reiki master, and all kinds of fun, different things that she plays with. And she called me and said, hey, I've done this thing I think you would really like. And it was the Access Bars, which is a gentle touch. There's different points in your head that you touch and you release stuck energies. And so I went and had that session, and that was my introduction into this amazing world of questions and possibilities. Mm-hmm. And that was about 7 years ago where I first found Access. And when it was introduced to me that, hey, maybe you're not so wrong, maybe you're not wrong. What if you're not right? What if you're not wrong? And I was like, what? Because, everyone around me has always made everything wrong. And so to have something different presented to me and see the changes that it created in my life and everyone else around me, and what I see when I see other people choosing that and playing with questions and how dynamically their lives can change, like, yes, sign me up for that. So, going from miserable, depressed, not wanting to be here anymore, to creating something that I feel like really I'm just kind of at the beginning of, and I'm more joyful every day, and more possibilities and opportunities present themselves. Yes.
Right.
Waiter, I'll have that, please.
So, Betsy, did you notice the change more too in your body? So the more that you became happy, was that the permission for your body,
Absolutely.
Permission, to your body?
Absolutely. I went from having pretty much constant headaches or migraines and being in terrible pain, hardly able to walk, to I rarely have headaches. I don't get migraines anymore. I don't have the body pain, very, very, very rarely. And, so yes, it's changed all of that. And I didn't go in to any of this with that expectation. It just happened over time. And one day I went, wait a minute, hold on. I don't even know when the last time I had a migraine was. And that was years and years and years ago. So definitely for me, it's changed everything with my body.
Wow. So is there another book, a next book coming out soon, Betsy? Hint, hint.
Hint. Well, actually, I'm supposed to be writing something right now that I need to get started on. That I'm doing a collaborative book with the Joy of Business crew. With I'm like, I thought about that this morning. I got to get started on that. So yes, there's definitely things in the work, and who knows what else is asking to be written. You just never know.
Well, I heard an interview. Someone did an interview with you once, and when I heard how much you lost weight and the way you did it. It was just such a different, and it was a kindness to your body. And I just went, that's the book. I haven't been able to really talk to you lately, and I'm like, the book, that's the book. And I know we're coming to the end of the show, but, especially people that, lose the weight, and, just even losing the weight can be its own journey, own awareness. Even keeping, and I think that could be another whole new, different show. But I'll have your show right now. But definitely, and then the whole new awareness of having the weight off. And keeping it off, because there's so many points of views when you lose the weight than keep the weight off. I think what you've done is amazing, and you've used such a different tools than the way of, conclusion, this is the way, experts saying you should do this, should do that.
Yes, absolutely. And I could probably tell you about pretty much every diet that's out there. I've done it, I've tried it, I've done it. And a lot of them were not kind to me or my body at all, and it was much more a forced kind of thing. So the journey that I have been on with my body, and I'm not at war with her anymore, no matter what size I am, has just been such a gift, such an amazing gift for me. And I tend to forget about that sometimes. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and I love what you just said. You said you're not at war with your body,
No.
and I think that's something we hate our body, we judge our body, we dislike our body, or we're at war with body. Do we ever talk to our body as a friend, as a kindness? Can we finish off the show about what things, and not just what things, what energy are you with your body?
Wow. Most of the time I am in harmony and communion. I can't say that I'm 100%. Certainly way better, way better than I ever have been before. And if I find myself having an unkind thought about something with my body, I will stop and say, I'm so sorry, and actually ask my body, what could I be here for you that I haven't been, and what kindness can I be, and really thanking my body for everything that the journey that we've been through. And, our bodies, they take care of us all the time, 24/7, whether we're happy with them or not. They take care of us, And so to have a different relationship with our bodies where we're actually in communion and not at war has been one of the greatest gifts that I could give myself and my body. And to not be in constant 24/7 judgment of everything that I did wrong or that my body didn't look like or wasn't. And to have that appreciation. And then when I'm something less than that, it's like, oh gosh, I'm sorry, body. I'm so sorry. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. And my body is she's always there. She supports me. She never, ever, 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 ever judges me. Ever.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, so you would say your body has your back.
Totally. So what if you could actually be best friends with your body, and what would that create for your life? And so, if you're listening and you have no idea, you've never even thought about it, what could you do today? What's enjoyable for you? And it could be reading a book, it could be going for a walk, or taking a nap, or playing in the yard, or jumping in the pool or the ocean, or whatever it is, where you standing with your face up when it's being rained on. Or I had a friend who had never experienced snow before, and we were in California, and we went to California, United States, and we went to Yosemite National Park. And as we were climbing the mountain, it was getting darker and darker, and it went from rain to snow. And we stopped, and there was nobody around. It was absolutely pitch, quiet. no sound, no cars, like and we're like, stop the car. We stopped the car. We got out, and she was running around like she was 6 years old in the snow with her face up in, her tongue out, getting the snowflakes on her tongue in such joy and such communion with her body and the earth, which this is a nice story that ties together being grateful, right?
Yeah.
And the gratitude she had and the joy was spilling over to us, and we were jumping and running around and being happy about being in the snow, and seeing it through her eyes was so beautiful, and it was such a gorgeous moment. And still, this is 15 years ago, and I still, whenever I think about that time, it takes me right back to that joy, and I can see her just jumping around and smiling and laughing, eating up the snowflakes.
And that's gratitude. That's a beautiful way to end the show. So grateful that you see you again.
Thank you.
Amazing, and thank you again.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Imperfect Brilliance. You can always find me at creatingyumminess.com. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.